of course, on this lake, when you have floating docks, you're gonna have dock cables. So one of the key is just take your time around these cables, and you definitely want to make casts under them and behind them and all around them, because a lot of times a lot of people just overlook them and they just keep going on and keep going down the bank. But if you can get around these cables and get behind them and stuff, and you can see we've already caught several fish today behind docks. So it's just something you have to deal with when you get on a lake that has docks like this. But you know, it can be, you got to look at it as good, because the fish will get around this stuff. Like even a dock cable like that right there, where it meets the water for some reason, a lot of times that's where the fish are going to be sitting at. I don't know really why, but even just that small cable like that, they'll get under it or around it, and you can catch fish off of them. All right, so Jackall makes the flick shake, and we have a flick shake worm, and we also have the flick shake head. The flick shake head is the wacky rig hook. It's got the ball head, it's got the little bitty hook on it. That's the one you hook right in the middle of the worm. This is what I'm throwing here, is the flick shake worm. It's 5.8 inches. We got a 4.8, a 5.8, and a 6.8. This is the 5.8, and I got it rigged up on the homemade shaky head. And I just rig it Texas style on this hook. And this is, when you're throwing a shaky head, you always want to rig it Texas rig style. That way it's weedless, you can get it in those rocks, lay downs, whatever. And then the flick shake head, when you're actually wacky rigging the worm, that's when you hook it in the middle of the worm, and it's got that weed guard on it, and you know, you can get it up next to the bank and stuff like that. But that's the shaky head. And like I said, you rig it Texas rig on there. And I like these Jackall worms because it's got these tails on it that are super limber. It's already come bent like that. That's going to give it more action. You know, we used to throw a trick worm a lot, and I would always love it if the tail on it was bent, because it just gives it a little bit more real action look, worm look. So these already come like that out of the package, and it's a fish catcher. Speaking of fish catcher, oh my gosh. So if you've seen my rookie moment there, I just broke off on one. And I actually missed him. He got my worm the cast before, then the next cast I broke him off. So what I did wrong was I didn't retie quick enough. I'm sure fishing around all these rocks and stuff, and he even may have been behind a rock when I set the hook, your line will get frayed sometimes. And especially if you're catching several fish, their teeth will start fraying it as well. These spotted bass have really sharp teeth, or I say sharp teeth, you know, they're really prickly, so they will, you know, get a line real frayed up. So I'd caught several and I just didn't retie, and that's why that fish broke me off, and I just got too excited, jerked a little too hard, and just wanted to catch him, and he got me. He got the best of me. But that was my main mistake. I should have just retied, especially after I missed one like that. I should have just took my time, retied the bait, and then got it back up there, because he's on a bed up there and he's not going anywhere. But it's really important to always retie a lot. So like I was saying earlier, we're bed fishing, or where they're spawning, but you're not seeing the fish. But it's still sight fishing, because you're using your sight to see where you need to cast at, because that's where the fish are going to be spawning. So we got like a bluff wall here, and so if you look at this bluff wall, there's little gaps in these bluffs. Well, that's where the fish are going to be at, on a bank like this, where there's no big laydowns or no rocks, big chunk rocks or nothing like that. So you look at a bank like this and you see the gap right there where the deepest little cut in is, and that's where you want to throw to. And you throw it up against the bank and want to drag it out, hoping that bed is right there in the crack of that bluff.
And the information Bass University provides isn't your basic run-of-the-mill fishing video. This is specific information from A to Z to help you learn, get to the water, and become a better angler quickly.